to say that um, I started this channel 5 to 6 years ago, and coming back after a really big recap, I guess. And I want to say life has hit me very hard in the past couple of years. And of course, I've changed. I've matured, or I could say that, I've grown up a little bit more. Um, and I went through a lot. At that time when I was recording in the beginning, I started I literally started, like, I don't have them in YouTube anymore, but I literally started recording since when I was living with my mother. After a while, be getting a little personal, I got I got depressed, and I just, like, I didn't want to do anything anymore. So my mom had to send me out there at the States with my uncle. Um, God bless his soul, rest in peace. He was, well, he was there, and I was with my aunt and my cousins, and I was trying to do my YouTube videos. So I actually did some other YouTube videos in there. And then after a while, I kept doing videos, but I was struggling with making the videos because I was not really good at editing. So I had a friend help me edit my own personal videos. I had, like, a very toxic ex, and he wouldn't let me go throughout the manipulation, and me being in love with that person, and he using that against me. There was so many ups and downs when I was living with my uncle as well. So I was constantly moving a lot. My first time that I actually moved was when I was living in, like, I was in Puerto Rico first, and I moved maybe like once there first. After that, when I moved to Massachusetts with my uncle at Holyoke, I stayed there for like maybe a year and a half, because after that, there was like a toxic environment. I love my family, but sometimes when you live with family, it's just, I guess it's not about not getting along, because we did get along. It's just that there was some things going on. And after a while, I was like, you know what? I have my job. I've been taking the bus. I've been walking to work. Let me just move. So I did. I moved. And the first place that I moved, it was a big house. It kind of felt like a sorority house, because it was this big house, and there were like 4 rooms. And I started then there doing a lot of YouTube videos, in which I was very proud of. I was happy. I was having my own space. But then the landlord was actually living there, and he did some passes on me, and I was all alone with him in that house. So I was very uncomfortable. So I started searching for another place, and that place was another hellhole, in which I will say that I fully regretted changing places that quickly out of nowhere. Like, I could have just, adultly talked to my landlord and say, hey, this is happening. I don't like it. Like, back off. Like, you can be my friend, and it's fine. He's like at that time, I was like 23 years old, and he's like a 67 years old man, and he was making moves at me, and I didn't like that. Um, my other roommates were almost never home, in which I suspected that most probably was because of him. I just I just couldn't handle it anymore because I was too nice and I didn't know how to tell him to back off. So I just decided to evade and move away. And I moved away, not that far, but I moved again on the same year, on 2019. I moved like two times. I moved first on April, from my uncle's house to their house, and then from September, I think, from his house to an apartment. And that apartment, I had a roommate. I won't say names. So that roommate, she was unfortunately extremely bipolar. That's the thing that she did not tell me about herself. She needed constant care, and she needed someone there for her 24/7. That kind of bothered me because later on I started to suspect these traits that she had, and that kind of bothered me because when she was like in one of the days that I was there, she was like talking to me and talking to someone in the phone, and then she's like, "Here, I'm gonna give you my psychologist," and I'm like, "Okay." And the psychologist was saying that I was gonna help her with her pills, that I was gonna help her with her mania episodes, and I did not know she had mania episodes. And the thing is that she had them very severe. Um, there were a couple of times that they called the cops on us, but it was because of her. And I was just in my room making videos. There was this night that I was gonna go to sleep, and I went to sleep early because the next day I had to go to work. So she said that she was gonna go out partying with a friend, and when she comes back, I'm sleeping, and I start hearing banging noises in the door, and I was scared. I'm like, what's going on? And that was my first night there with her. I was trying to give her the benefit of the doubt, but I shouldn't have. I should have just looked somewhere else, and I should have just moved away again because it was not safe there, and it was never safe there for me. Long story short, I had so many mad encounters in that apartment, and like I said before, I had this toxic relationship with my ex, and we were on and off all the time when I was in Puerto Rico. Then he followed me, and what I mean followed me, he literally followed me to Massachusetts later on when I was in that apartment. Um, and he took advantage of me so much because later on he cheated with my roommate, of course. And then after a while, we had to move away, so we literally moved to his uncle's house in New Jersey, from Massachusetts to New Jersey. And after there, I had to stop making videos because my computer, it was in a box somewhere else in that big, because I didn't have a car either. um, we had this big truck with all our stuff there, mainly my stuff because I was the one making a life in Massachusetts, and I was just too naive enough to follow him instead of kicking him out from that apartment, and just for me, leaving the apartment. But no, I decided to go with him. So I followed him. I went with him to New Jersey, and I was like around 2 weeks to 3 weeks on uncle's house. And after a while, the uncle was like, since you don't have that much money, I'm just gonna buy you the plane tickets, actually, to go to Puerto Rico. Because, I was out of money. I was not working. I even offered myself to work. Because when I was in those 2 or 3 weeks, I was mopping. I was like sweeping around. I was cleaning the kitchen after every time that we cooked and everything. Um, and like I would clean around the house because I was there as a visitor, but at the same time I felt that I was an intruder there because I didn't know that part of my ex's family before. I've never seen them before, and that's the first time I see them and meet them. I had to sell part of my stuff before going back to Puerto Rico, and the rest of my stuff, unfortunately, my ex was forcing me to throw it away because we didn't have time anymore. Uh, I do regret those decisions. I will always regret it all my life. What I did, like I said, I should have stayed in Massachusetts, just kicked him out, and then I could have just continued with my life. But no, I had to follow him, and I had to quit my job that I was having for $16 an hour. That was the job that it was having a lot of more money, and I was aiming for that because after that I kind of wanted to rent out a house, and I was on a list as well. But then I threw all of that away because I was completely naively in love with my ex, who manipulated me to like countless of times. And that's the horrible thing ever, having someone manipulate you in a way that you don't see it. Like, you talk to other people and you will be like, I was mostly talking to my best friend about everything that was happening to me, and she will literally tell me. But it's just that when you're in love with someone, you always try to like find like a good thing about them. Like, oh, like in the beginning of the relationship, he was like this, he was like that. And I believe that he's gonna change. I believe he's gonna do better. Like, he promised me this, he promised me that. But in the long run, later on, I it just clicked. It just really clicked for me. So from New Jersey, we went back to Puerto Rico, unfortunately, and I moved in with my best friend. Um, I kind of like distanced myself from him because I just couldn't anymore. And then my best friend was telling me, stop talking to him, like, he's toxic. He did this, and and then I was sleeping in a couch for a month. And then after a month that I was gonna go and live with my grandma. So that's what I did. Like I said, like, I've been moving around for so long. I moved like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 7 times I moved. I moved 7 times. And then after a while, I had this big conversation with my grandma after a long time, and she was like, "You know something, Anya? You're a nomad." And I'm like, "Is that an insult? Are you insulting me?" And she's like, "No, no, 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 not at all. Um, Nomads are people who can't be in one place. They move a lot. That's what a nomad is." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I guess I am a nomad. Um, I cannot stay in one place for a long time." And I think that happened to me Because if you see my resume, I have a lot of experience in so many different places because I do move a lot. Like, if I get tired of one place, I just move to the other. That's job related because not home related. I had to move in different occasions because of the circumstances that I was having personally. And after a while, este, I met my husband through a mutual friend. Um, and I started to, like, in the beginning, it was mainly more to be just friends. But as as the relationship started to like go deeper and deeper, I instantly thought that I really wanted to be with him, with my husband. Um, the funny thing is that later on, I don't know how the heck, my ex reached to me again. And this time I was not gonna let him have it. This time I was for sure that he's not gonna change. He never loved me. He never loved me. I was his plan B. I was always his plan B or his booty call. I was always his plan Z in this case. I was always his plan Z. And this time, for sure, I was like, you know what? You manipulated me. You used me. You made me feel horrible. You made me feel like I'm nothing. You, like, all of those negative stuff. And I said, no. This is a stop moment. I'm done. Literally. So I told him to back off. Then he was stalking me nonstop. He was stalking me nonstop. In which that's another part of my life that kind of bothered me, because as soon as I moved in with my grandma, and then I started meeting my husband first, like friends and everything. I had a job. Um, After a while, I moved again to the first time I moved. It was in an apartment where my mom's living right now, and that apartment, it was the first apartment that my dad had first, but then they divorced and whatever. Now it's my mom's. And so I moved there. And honestly, I I didn't had a great time in that apartment. Not really. I think I would have stayed in my grandma's house, because later on I was having so many issues with my mother, and I feel that the relationship went rock bottom with my mother, and it's kind of sad, but well, that's where I am right now. In that moment, I was still not recording anything because I was not in the mindset of recording anything just yet. I thought that it was no use, and um, honestly, just, I just, in a way, gave up. In a way, gave up because I was going through so many emotional transitions and so many emotional stages. The point of the whole thing was that I was not active enough, and this is something that makes me very passionate and something that I really wanted to do. I actually started to feel a lot better, and all the support that I was having from my husband. And later on, he proposed to me, and that was before he left for the army. because he enlisted himself, and to do that he needed to like some training, so he had to go to Missouri for training. So I when that happened, I moved by myself, and I had my own car finally. I moved to my second home, and from there I moved to San Juan, to another apartment. It was a lot more smaller apartment in a second floor. And from there, I moved to now where I'm living now, that is in Alaska, in Fort Greeley. Um, I'm living in a base. That's the only thing I can say. Cannot say anything else. But yes, I'm living here with my husband. I'm very happy with him. We've had our ups and downs as a married couple, and I just feel very lucky to be where I am at and to be with my husband. Well, I guess that's my update. That's basically my update of my whole life, of what happened of this basically 5 to 6 years. But I'm back. I'm back. I feel more comfortable. I feel more relaxed. I feel more motivated to actually do these videos. And even though I'm the one editing the videos now, I'm gonna be making videos every day, but I will be posting videos on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And I'm really excited. And I will learn more throughout the process, because besides YouTube, I want to do Twitch as well. So later on, when I start, adding more social media in my YouTube and all that, I will do that as well. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video of this update of my life. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more goodies like this one. Love you. Bye.